going.
Record. Ladies and gents, if you're thinking why we're laughing right about now and the show just has not started, because we're talking about what each other's makeup looks like. No makeup. We don't wear makeup. Sorry. We're athletes. What do we need makeup for? We only, as a man, I'm not going to carry long fingernails. I'm sure it doesn't have long fingernails either. So never mind us laughing, folks. This is going to be a fun one. Oh, ladies and gents, welcome to episode 2 of Living with New Autoimmune Conditions. I am your host with the mostest, hopefully, at least I'm trying to be, as I start this new journey with this podcasting thing, talking about autoimmune conditions, namely a lot about NMO, because that is a very, very new one for me. Not that I have many, only 2. But, it's very heavy and it's weird to say the least. Um, my special guest today, I'm really, really excited. I need to find like a thing where I need to get a drum roll, but I'll get my own drum roll right about now. You don't hear it, but at some point it'll be in there. Folks, my special guest today. It pains me again, Rand. I'm sorry. This pains me to say former anything, but I'm going down the line right about now. A former ballet dancer, a former volleyball player, former gymnast, former dancer who traveled with the Polynesian dance team, ladies and gents. And this is the knife in the heart right here. A former triathlete who, in which, had 3 triathlons lined up for this year alone. That is enough to satisfy your athletic appetite. And you've got 3 triathlons that you were training for. No one better say nothing about this woman about not working out. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Miranda Evans, welcome to the platform.
Thank you so much. And as always, may the fourth be with you. Couldn't pass that one up. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. It's great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This has been a very uncomfortable weekend for me, past, but I can never give you anything short of me being good. Um, like I actually lost an uncle this weekend,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
and thank you. And yeah, I think I don't know. No, that did not spur on this flare up. I've been dealing with this flare up, that whole banded situation. I think since Thursday of last week. So yeah, this weekend has just been like a physically uncomfortable ride. And it's one of those things you just kind of deal with it and weather the storm as best as you can, because when it comes, it comes. When it goes, it goes. You don't even pay attention to it. It's just kind of like, oh, I feel normal today. And then the next day is just kind of like, oh, here we go again. So
Mhm. Yeah.
it's one of those things. But other than that, I am who I am. I'm happy. I'm me. I'm smiling. I'm here. I'm with you. And how are you? Like health wise, like how you doing?
Health-wise, I've actually been doing really good the past week. So yeah, I've actually been doing really good. So I've my diagnosis is so new that I haven't been trying to live in it and just being like, oh my gosh, I have an MO, I have this, like, oh my gosh, poor me. But at the same time, it's kind of been like become my identity in the past few months. And so I decided a few weeks ago, I'm like, I'm going to do whatever I can just to not live with that as my identity for the moment and just see if anything changes. And I actually have to say, am feeling a lot better. So I'm feeling a lot better with everything more energetic, I guess, in a way, which I think that it was just like that I was just letting myself be a little bit down in the dumps, even when I thought that, like, oh, I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
But so it's definitely been a lot of help, like not living in that as my identity. Like, yeah, sure, I have it, but it's not necessarily my identity. And just learning how to go through with it. Yeah, I'm hoping to get this whole month not being in the ER. Yeah, ever since my diagnosis, I've been in the ER at least once a month. And
Oh
so
wow.
I think I have 2 weeks to go, and then hopefully I can make it.
Oh my gosh, where's the calendar right about now? Let's tally up the days, right? And just make sure we stay on that path.
Exactly.
Anyone that upsets my mood, you're omitted for like the next 3 months. Like you're no longer not allowed to be around here.
Exactly.
You're not allowed. Oh my gosh. All right. So let's do this. Like I said, I want to make this introduction a little bit different and a little bit more athletically personal, I
Mhm.
want to say. Okay. So, as I'm not even going to say former anymore, as this athletic woman who's done all these athletic feats and was forcefully and you forcefully had to bow out of the current um, training sessions and events that you were training for. Um, how about you introduce the public to who Miranda was before her athleticism?
Yeah. Yeah, so before my athleticism, can't even say because that was when I was 2 years old. I became an athlete when I was three when I started ballet. My aunt and my aunt was a ballet teacher and my uncle was a volleyball coach. So I was brought up in that world literally since birth. So, but actually, I didn't start being a full-time athlete where like I focused on nutrition and other things that athletes think about, trainings and all of that kind of stuff. I actually didn't start that until last year, probably 8 months ago. Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So I've been doing all of these different athlete things like ballet, gymnastics, volleyball, dancing on a professional Polynesian dance team, traveling the world. But somehow, like, nothing really came about that as like an athlete. Like where you
Mm,
focus on your nutrition, you focus on training, you focus on like different aspects of those things. And it was kind of like, you eat whatever you want and like you try to eat healthy, but what is healthy? And then you do training when you have practice, and that's pretty much it. And that was pretty much my entire life until about 8 months ago, where I started actually like dialing in, getting like coaches, focusing on my nutrition, my training schedule. Yeah, there's certain parts of training, especially for triathlons and stuff, that a lot of us don't like, and that is swimming. Most of us hate it. Um, but it got to the point where I'm like, I cannot say no to this. I have to, like, it's on the training schedule. I'm like, I could move it to like Thursday and do Thursday's workout today, but I eventually have to do it. So
mhm,
it's where
yeah.
I started really dialing in to my the athlete in me, about 8 months ago. So,
Yeah, and the thing about these Ironmans and triathlons, man, they keep you in shape year round. Like
yep.
that is a full-time job. So like in New York here, I mean, they have the Ironman and the triathlon and such, but I'm not one for being outside in the cold weather and running and doing it. So I ultimately skipped out on that. But I used to be involved with this indoor triathlon organization called Jackrabbit Triathletes. And literally, it was a sprint, like sprint from start to finish. So what they would do is they would break up the events. You would do 10 minutes in the pool, get as many laps as you can. So literally, as you're in, you better make it down and back as quickly as you can, get as many laps as you can. Then, of course, you get the transitional periods where you change into your dry clothes, get to your bikes, and everything's calibrated. So you see where you are on the racing board, how many miles you have, who's behind you, and this, that, and the other. So you're doing 30 minutes on the bike, get as many miles as you can. Hit the stop button, run around the corner, you see your treadmill, you get on it, and you push that start button. And it's like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. Your feet just better start going, right? Because you only got 20 minutes. Get as many
Mhm.
miles as you can. And I tell you, you do that for 3 months,
Yeah.
yeah, just jack shredded, yeah, everything. Like,
How
even
could
if
you
you
not be?
lost, right?
Yeah.
Like, even if you lost, you won. You know what I mean? Like, you won. So, yeah, no, yeah, it's that's a different training zone altogether.
Yeah.
Just to
I
have
mean,
that.
yeah, I've seen those indoor triathlons before, and I thought that it was so cool. I've never known anyone who's done it, so you're my first. But they look so cool.
You got to YouTube it and make sure you see me. I'm the guy probably with like the red shorts on,
I'll be like, I
no
know him. I
speedos.
know him. I love that. No, but it's so hard to like not get shredded and not get jacked and stuff when you're doing that. Even if you don't win, it's not about winning, it's about your personal best and winning against yourself.
Exactly.
And yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, I live in the exact town as Ironman World Championships. So every single October, it's really hard not to get as fit as possible because you have
Right.
all these other athletes. I always have people in my town that they're at coffee shops and stuff. They're like, "Oh, are you an athlete?" And before I was always like, "No, I'm just kind of fit, but thanks." But then this past year, I'm just like, "Yes, I am." And then they're like, "Oh, good luck." And I'm like, "I'm not even doing this race, but thanks."
The hair thing.
No, like you don't need to know that. Thank you. Thank you. I will take that and store that for next year when you're not here. I will own this.
That is great. That is great. And the only thing you want to do after that is eat. Like after this, all this hard training and everything, just give me everything in the world because I'm gonna burn it off tomorrow anyway. Just it doesn't matter. It
That
does
was the
not
one thing that I
matter.
could never do, though. It actually turned off my appetite instead of turning it on. It was so crazy.
Really.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
never hungry. I was never hungry, and I was training, and I had to force myself to eat. And yeah, it was crazy. Like every once in a while, I'd get more hungry and like as hungry as I should be. But so many triathletes,
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, after you train, you're ravenous. You're eating everything." And I'm just like,
Oh my God.
"Can I have a small smoothie?" Like that's all I feel like right now.
Mm-mm. Girl, and I always had a healthy appetite,
Mhm.
but that right, my appetite was on hyper.
Oh my
On
gosh.
hyper. Like the gym that I went to, we were was right next door to the Applebee's. So I was very happy to work out at that gym because they had the pool, they had everything. So as soon as I go
Yeah.
downstairs, get cleaned up, straight to Applebee's. I'm not going home. Applebee's. Give me everything on this side of the menu, you know?
Yeah, I love that. But I'm actually starting to wonder if my reduced appetite was because of my NMO, because I wasn't diagnosed
Mm,
yet. And so I know that like spinal lesions and stuff can like disrupt different signals. So maybe that
yep.
had something to do with it. Because normally I'm a very hungry person. I can overeat anybody. I'm like, nope, not this time.
That so sucks though, man. Seriously. So okay, so that's Miranda before like really getting into things. So now that you're into things, how is it on that side now? Like, you still haven't got diagnosed,
Mhm.
but it's leading up into that. Like, so you said it was only this year
Yeah, it was
in
this
January
past
that you did that.
January. So over New Year's, I was actually in the hospital, and it was mid-January where my official diagnosis came in.
What day? You remember?
I think it was the 14th, the 13th or 14th of January.
Wow. We're really like mirroring each other. I was 10 days, I was the 24th. So I've
Oh,
got 10
wow.
days on you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's crazy.
This is nuts, man. Like, who could have rolled the dice on this one? Who could have?
Nobody, nobody.
It's insane. So you're fully engulfed in like training and doing these events, and you got all these other things going on. Now you find out like, well, how was your first like symptom? Like, before we even get into that, like what happened before the diagnosis and then leading into the diagnosis? What happened there?
Yeah, so that actually does piggyback off of each other really well. So great question. So before my diagnosis, while I was doing Ironman training and stuff like that, that started last September when I started officially training for Ironman, running, biking, swimming. I bought everything once Ironman came into town. They set up these huge tents and stuff, so I bought everything that I possibly could need.
Mhm.
But so I was focusing on like training schedules, finding the best coach, but like through an app because I can't actually afford an in-person coach. So I was trying to find the best apps and then everything's AI, but I'm like, I kind of would prefer a personal coach, but at the same time, I don't know. And then I need nutrition. There's so much that I needed to focus on. And so I
Mhm.
was doing that and I was putting a about 10 hours a week into training. My first 2 weeks of training, though, I think I was probably doing like 25 to 30 hours a week of training because I was like super excited. Yeah, I was like, we can do this. And then eventually I'm just like, okay, but that was when I more got into like the structure of things and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I can't push
Mhm.
myself too far. My first race is it was in March. So I'm just like, I have a few months. I can't overdo it yet. Let's build up to it. And so, but I'm a very competitive person, even against myself. So I was pushing myself as much as I possibly could, eating as much as I could. As I said, I was not hungry ever. And so I was kind of like trying to force myself to eat, try to figure out how to get all the nutrition into me that I possibly could need. Um, and then Ironman happened, which was super cool because I was able to like go swimming out with everybody for training and running with them, and it was just so inspirational, and I love it.
Mhm.
But anyways, so no, December rolls around, and it's just before Christmas, probably mid-December, and I'm on my bike, and I have a 2 hour bike ride ahead of me on an indoor bike. And so I start going after it. And I'm like pedaling. I have my app up that like has the course in front of me and stuff. And I'm like, I've got this. And I'm going, going, going. And I am sweating like crazy 15 minutes in. And I'm just like, dude, like, what is going on? But I'm like, sure. So I like turn on the fan right in front of me to blow on me, like just doing everything I can to cool myself off. And then I look at my heart rate monitor, and my Garmin watch. Let me just say, I'm cool enough. Um, but anyways, so I looked at my Garmin and it does your heart rate. And with the heart rate, I don't even know how high it was, but it was definitely a lot higher than it should have been. It was very, very high, especially for that soon into the ride. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have 2 hours. Like, I can't, like, I just was not feeling good at all. I was feeling very, very sick, almost like I could pass out. I'm like, I have 2 hours. Okay, let's slow it down. I'm not going to push myself. I'm just going to get through the 2 hours. And at about minute 55, I almost pass out and fall off my bike. Luckily, it's inside and on a trainer, so didn't almost get hurt. But yeah, so I almost passed out, and I was just like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, no more. So I get off my bike for safety. I jump in the shower, and as I'm taking off my shirt and stuff, I'm like, it was so sweaty. You could like wring it out into a cup. It was disgusting. And I'm like, what is this? I wasn't even riding that hard. And so I jump in the shower, and then after that, I go out for ice cream with my friends because we all need that sugar high after training. um,
Of course, why not?
of
I
course,
told you Applebee's.
yeah, exactly. See? And so we were gonna go right across the street to a Baskin Robbins. And so I'm like, I'll just meet you guys there. It's fine. I start walking there and my heart rate is still skyrocketing just from walking. And I'm just like, what is going on? And I get to Baskin Robbins before my friends do, and I was actually doing I do acting on the side as well. So I actually was supposed to be in a movie right when I got diagnosed. But anyway, so I was reading the script and stuff like that, and just going over it. And I was taking a video, which I think is so cool because the very first day that I got sick, I actually have a video footage of how sick I looked. And I didn't even realize it. I was going through my camera the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, this was the exact day that I got sick. That's so crazy. But I was watching the video and I'm like, I look really sick. Like, why didn't anybody tell me that? I look really sick. Um, but anyway, so they come, we have ice cream, I go back home, I'm laying down in bed, and I'm in bed like scrolling on my phone or whatever for like 45 minutes. My heart rate was still 136, I think, laying down. Like getting
Get out of
ready
here.
for
Wow.
bed, it was like, yeah, my resting heart rate was 136. And my resting heart rate was like in the 40s prior to this.
Right.
Like a week prior to this, it was in the 40s. And yeah, so that was just so crazy. And then the next day, I believe it was either that day or the next day, I started going numb in my left foot. My left foot started going numb, but I also have another autoimmune condition, just like you. I didn't know that it was an autoimmune condition at the time, but I knew that I had it. It's called Raynaud's, and so it's where your blood vessels kind of like if they get too cold, they like stop the blood flow a little bit, and it just is extremely painful.
That's some
But
scary stuff, man.
Yeah, but it like I've had that and I've had it deal with my nerves where it like makes my skin numb in certain places for like a few days, a
Mhm.
few weeks, like, but then it goes away. And so I'm like, oh, it's probably just that. It is what it is, whatever. Next day, it like is like halfway up my left leg, and I'm just like, that's weird, but like it's fine, don't worry about it. But anyway, so over the next few days, it started spreading more and more, and it finally was on both legs, my right and my left leg. And I'm like,
Mm.
I'm talking to my friends, and they're like, you should go to the hospital. And I'm just like, no, I've been trained a little bit in like primary healthcare stuff and things like that. So I'm like, no, I'm like, I don't need to go to the hospital. They're just going to send me home. They're going to be like, nothing's wrong. You're fine. Just go home. So I'm like, I'm just going to monitor it. If it gets worse, like a lot worse, then I'll go in. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop training because maybe I'm overtraining. That's what my friends were saying too. Like, are you overtraining? And I'm like, no, I'm totally not. I'm doing 10 hours a week. Like, that is not overtraining. And so all of that happened. And over the next week, my heart rate was still skyrocketing, like just from like getting up and like walking to the kitchen, like on the same floor. My heart rate would go from like the 80s to 90s resting to like 120 just getting up and walking. And I'm just like,
That's insane.
what is going on? And so I'm like, okay, just give it a week. No training, no anything. Like we're taking the week off. We're gonna see what happens. And then, yeah, over the week, nothing got better. It just started getting a little bit worse, but I'm still way too stubborn to go to the hospital. So I'm just like, no, it's fine. It's my Raynaud's. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, it'll go away eventually. Like, normally it lasts like 4 days, but it's been like over a week now. So it's fine.
Mm.
And then it was actually on New Year's Eve. Yeah, it was on New Year's Eve. The numbness all of a sudden went from my legs where it had kind of like chilled on my legs. Like I think it was up to like my waist-ish area. And then it kind of like paused there, but then New Year's Eve that night, it actually went up on my left side all the way to like my sternum area. And I couldn't
Mm.
breathe out of that lung, like at all. It pretty much paralyzed my lung. And I was like, okay, now it's time for the hospital. I can't breathe.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
go to the hospital. They do every test under the in the book except for an MRI. And the MRI machine, the tech, because it was holidays, it's a small country hospital. So the MRI tech had gone home until the 2nd of January because of the holiday.
Of
And
course.
like, well, all your tests are normal, but like something's wrong. Like I had all of the words that get you straight in to the ER. I'm like, I came in and I'm just like, I have an elevated heart rate, I have chest pain, I have like numbness in my legs, I have like I used every word in the book, which was actually true. Like I didn't make up any words just to get in. And so I didn't even
Mm.
have a chance to sit down when they like come out. They're like, Miranda, come on in. And so I get hooked up to like an EKG. I get x-rays taken of my chest. Like they do every test in the book. Everything comes back normal. And they're like, the next thing that we would do is an MRI, but the tech's not in. So go home, which again is why I didn't go in the first place because I knew that they'd send me home. They're like, go home, and then in the next few weeks, go get an MRI. And I'm just like, okay, sounds good. And so the next day, New Year's Day, that evening, it ended up moving over to my right side as well. And again, on my sternum area. And I couldn't breathe at all, pretty much. Like it was, I could, but it was very, very labored breathing. And I'm like, we need to go back in. Like I know that it's not open for another, I think it was like 10 more hours or something like that, when the MRI machine would open. And I'm just like,
Mm.
well, at least then if I stop breathing, because it's an hour away, the hospital. So I'm just like, well, as long as if I stop breathing, at least I'm in the hospital. Like, at least that.
First person online.
Yeah, exactly. So I go in, and then the doctor asks me, like, oh, but can you breathe? And I'm like, no. And then he, like, oh, okay. And then he asked me all these other questions. And he's like, okay, well, like, there's really no reason to keep you here. So, like, go home. I mean, if you couldn't breathe, then that would, I'm like, I can't breathe. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, let's get you into a room then. I'm like, what? You asked me and I told you. Like, what was this? And so they got me into the room, and then I ended up getting I had to wait probably another 12-ish hours before I got my MRI. So it was
Mm.
at 11 o'clock the next day, and then they put me into an MRI, and it was 4 hours long. But I am the best at MRIs because I don't move a muscle. And so I got it done in 2.5 hours, and it was supposed to be 4 hours. So Just saying, that's my little superhero trick. But so I end up going in for my MRI. I get out pretty
See, I
quickly.
fall asleep.
I know, I did because I didn't get any sleep that night. I was so
I fall
uncomfortable and I
asleep.
couldn't breathe. I fell asleep. That was my trick. I fell asleep for like I think 2 hours. I woke up when they had to do the contrast. And yeah, because
Yeah,
like
I had to
waking
do
up
that
and
too.
then he's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, how much longer? And then he's like, oh, 30 more minutes. And I'm like, wait, what? Where did the time go?
Seriously, yeah. Yeah, no, seriously, man. Isn't it funny though? Like these symptoms happen, right? And
Mhm.
well, I can't. So we can't speak for the quote unquote the regular average person who
Yeah.
does not work out or get involved with the events that we get into. So it's like
Mhm.
our systems are so almost bulletproof to certain
Yeah.
things, right? So it sustains us for a longer period of time. But could
Mhm.
you imagine like the person who just went to work, come home, sit on the couch?
Yeah.
That person could have been out of here,
Hmm.
completely out of here. Or if you're here, I mean, the worst of the worst of what this condition could have done to you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And of how they told me to wait, like get it done not at the hospital, not come back on the second or the third, but just try to get it done at my local place, which can take weeks to get into. And I'm
Right.
just like, oh, okay. So just thinking about that, I'm like, it could have gotten so much worse. Because my MRI, they told me after the MRI was over, they're like, okay, it'll take a few hours for them to get back to you. I kid you not,
Mhm.
it was bad enough that 40 minutes later, three doctors come rushing into my room and it's literally complete chaos. They're like, okay, you have to get a spinal tap, you have to get a CT, we're airlifting you to Oahu. I live in Hawaii in case you guys didn't know, but yeah. Anyways, so we're airlifting you to Oahu, like all of this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, hold up, what? And they're like,
Right.
yeah, you have a huge, like they sent it to Oahu, like all my results and stuff. They went over it. They're like, she needs to get here right now.
Right.
And so I'm just like, had that not happened, like I think everything lined up perfectly to get me to Oahu and to get treatment.
Right.
I think that if it was a few days earlier or a few days later, like it would have been much worse a few days later. And a few days earlier, I don't know if they would have caught it at the same way. So I'm actually
Insane.
very grateful and thankful for how it happened because I know a lot of people with our condition, they can be misdiagnosed for years. And
Yep.
even when they rushed into my room and like was starting like the spinal tap and all of that kind of stuff, the doctor, she came up to me and she was like, "Yeah, so like we don't know exactly what it is, but it's looking like it's MS, which is what NMO gets misdiagnosed with a lot of times." And so I'm just like, oh, "Okay, I have a friend with MS, so I haven't talked to her in a while, so I guess I'll just call her up and we can chat about it." Great, support.
Mm.
But I know that a lot of people do get misdiagnosed and misdiagnosed with MS, which was my first, not official diagnosis, but their first thought process. And so I'm just very thankful. It took 3 weeks from my very first symptom until I was diagnosed. So
Yeah. No,
yeah.
that's insane. Oh my gosh, like the numbness feeling.
Mhm.
I didn't experience that on my first go round. It remember I was leaving work and I was coming home
Yeah.
and everything started on my left leg first. So I went from
Hmm.
a normal gait to like my left leg being stuck on the cement.
Yeah.
Like like something was pulling me under the cement. And at first I thought it was just kind of like a compressed nerve or something like that. So I just
Yeah.
kind of shook it off and then everything was like right on the way. Didn't think I kept a mental note, but it didn't happen for like weeks later on, maybe like a month. And then not the same thing, but my
Yeah.
leg just locked out. Like no knee bend, no nothing. It just locked. So it was just like Captain Peg leg. And that's when I
Yeah.
said, it just stopped. So I said, okay, two different symptoms on different legs, but weeks apart. And the same thing, I was heading home. And I said, let me just stop over to the emergency room first and see what's going on.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, I didn't have faith in getting like good responses because I don't blame them, but I do because their whole thing is, well, what hurts? What's your pain scale? What's this and what's that? I'm like,
Yeah. It's like I'm not in pain. It's like
this is what just happened. This is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm feeling. What could this be? Like,
yeah,
give me something here. So I'm like, well, just like you, if you don't have the pain, like, we can
yeah,
keep you overnight, but yeah, I'm not staying here overnight. Like,
yeah.
so moving forward, just contact my doctors and such. And it was a Thursday,
Hmm.
the 24th of January. Went in to get my MRI the previous day.
Hmm.
And then that Thursday, I get the call. No, the Friday, I get the call. It says, I need you to get back here right now
Yeah.
because your spinal cord is inflamed from your cervical all the way down to your thoracic spine. That can happen. Like, it blew my mind. And he told me, I said, I don't know if you're going to be here for a very long time or a short time, but pack a lot of snacks.
It's like you need all the snacks. Just do it. Hey, you had time to prepare. Just
Oh, but right? I'm sitting at the
like
desk here, like, come on. But
stop at 7-Eleven on your way here and just get some snacks.
it's insane. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And
Mhm.
so I get there. I tell him who my doctor was, and he told me to get here because of XYZ and blah, blah, blah. So that transition was pretty smooth. And then I get into the emergency room, and my neurologist walks comes back after like 5 seconds and says, hey, my name is Dr. Such and Such. I'm your neuroimmunologist. I'm I got really proficient of saying that too, after like biting my tongue like 100 times.
Yep.
Um, and he told me, so I saw your scans, and I strongly feel like you have this thing called NMO. And I was like, those are not M&Ms. What's the NMO? Right?
Right? It's like, oh, it
Right.
doesn't sound as pretty as Eminem. Like,
Yeah, so he's like, it's called neuromyelitis optica, and what it is like it's an autoimmune condition. And like you said, it's lesions on your spine that's blocking the information from your brain to your lower extremity, and all these different things are happening. So this is what I think it is, and we found it in time. So what I want to do is like aggressive treatment right away. It's like, oh my God. So I'm not going home? No,
mhm.
no. So yeah, that was like the turning point right there. So it was like I was in there. I think I got a bed that Saturday morning, and then Sunday we started treatment.
Yeah.
So I was in the hospital for about maybe 2 weeks, a few days over, but about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. I know. I think mine was just over 2 weeks too, but it was 2 weeks in Oahu at least. So, and then a few
Mm.
days. But that was again after being sent home a few different times. But they
Tell
were
me you
still
had a
after day after day. So I'm like, it still counts. They all roll into each other.
tell me you had an ocean view though. Did you?
No, I did not because it's
Oh, come
actually
on.
up in a town called Waimea, and Waimea is like country. It's like horses
Mm.
and ranches and like the Paniolos and all of that kind of stuff, which is like Paniolo is Hawaiian cowboy. And so it's just very west out there. It's like not much ocean. You can see the ocean from parts, but yeah,
Hmm.
just mostly greenery and just beautiful and ranch lands. So
I
it's still
mean,
pretty. It's still
it's
pretty.
pretty. Yeah, that's still awesome though. No parrots.
Nope. Not this time, but maybe next time.
Oh my gosh. So let's jump into this. How is navigating life now? Right. So got diagnosed. It uh, forced you to stop training. How was that? Like having to stop training and then knowing about this diagnosis and then now having to navigate life with this new thing because it affected your legs more, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still to this day, I can't feel anything from my sternum down to my feet. And
Mm-hmm.
numbness, if you guys have never had numbness before, you would think that numbness is that you just can't feel anything. Numbness is numbness. But with people with numbness, there's so many different levels and it changes so much. You can have sensations in parts and then it can be completely no sensation in other parts. For me, at least, it changes around as well, where part
Hmm.
of my leg that you touched yesterday, I could feel and today I can't, but I can feel this part, whereas yesterday I couldn't. So
Yeah.
numbness is not numbness at all. It's very hard to explain unless you're talking to someone that knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, in our case, it's very abstract. Like you said,
Yeah.
like I go through the same things. It's like I could be numb or partially numb on my right quad, and then tomorrow is completely fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very, very abstract that way.
I know.
Do
It's
you stay away from crowds and things like that now?
not anymore. Um, yeah, how it's affected my life since I've been diagnosed, and this isn't even just about being an athlete, it's just in general. I have to have somebody with me at all times because I'm too stubborn to use a walker. So I'm supposed to be upgraded to a cane now, but I'm still way too
Okay.
stubborn to use any sort of device unless I'm extremely tired. But then it's kind of like that I'm so tired that I have to use a walker because a cane would do nothing. But
Yeah.
anyways, so when I go places, I have to have my mom come with me because she's my full-time caregiver now because I am a fall risk. I have gotten stuck. Yeah, I was trying to plug something into the wall one day on the other side of my bed and I couldn't get to it because there's too much stuff on the floor. So we were like
Hmm.
rearranging my room, just trying to make it more, I don't want to use the word handicap friendly, but like handicap friendly. But
Yeah.
anyway, so there's a bunch of stuff and I couldn't get to the plug and I'm like, oh, I need to use that plug. So I'm like, I'll just go on my stomach. It's fine. And I kind of forgot that I couldn't feel my stomach either because again, I'm numb from the sternum down. So I flopped
Right.
over
Right.
my stomach and then I can't use my legs. I have this strength in my legs because I can still walk, but like I couldn't feel the bed beneath me. So I couldn't use my legs to help push my like propel myself forward to the other side of the bed. And so
Yeah.
I literally did this weird army crawl thing with my forearms. I finally get to there. I plug it in and then I'm like, great. And then I couldn't flip over.
Oh God.
I got completely stuck on my stomach. I couldn't, I don't know why, but even like using my arms to flip over, like I couldn't flip over. And so that's one of the main reasons why I have to have a full-time caregiver is because like, yeah,
Yeah. No.
stuff, but I get stuck in really odd positions and I would be stuck there until someone comes and finds me. So,
Oh Jesus, no. Oh
but
my
yeah,
God.
so I used to, because of that reason, I used to avoid crowds. But now I'm a little bit more confident with like my
Hmm.
walking and stuff like that. Because again, it's more just like without having the sensation, it's more about like the balance.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I was talking to my physical therapist about it the other day, and she was saying that she thinks it's because I was a gymnast that I have like really good body awareness. And so she's like, because you shouldn't be able to walk in your condition. You
Hmm.
shouldn't. And I'm just like, but I am. And she's like, yeah, you have this strength, but even people with strength normally can't walk. And I'm just like, well, I guess I'm glad that I can. And she's like, I'm pretty sure it's because you were a gymnast. And I'm like, great.
Yep. I'll take it.
I know.
I'll
I'm
take
like,
it.
I will take it because I also think that it's because I'm way too stubborn to do anything else. So,
I mean, I feel like it encompasses both. You know, it's just the will to say, no, I'm not going to remain in this
mhm.
one place because of this thing. You know, you have a will to actually get up and, you know, maneuver the way you want to. It may not be 100% the way it used to be 2 days ago, but the fact that you can say, look, man, I'm getting up and I'm going to walk over there. You
Yeah.
know, so sometimes I guess stubbornness has its place.
Yeah, it has its
You
place and
know?
it makes me not want to miss out on life either. So like when I first got home and stuff like that, it was extremely difficult when I first got home, but like going into crowded areas, it takes a lot out of me even to this day. Like if I go to like I don't go to concerts, but if it was a concert or something like with a big crowd, it just takes it out of me. And so I would
Mhm.
only be able to be there for a short amount of time. And even then I would have to leave early and then be completely wiped out when I get home. But I
Right.
don't have to avoid it anymore with like risks. I mean, I still risk falling, but it's not as terrifying for me. Um,
Hmm.
I remember the first day that I got discharged from the hospital in Oahu, I ended up getting airlifted there, but then you have to find your own flight back. And so I ended up flying back home, and I remember getting out of the hospital and getting into the Uber. And I have never, we were driving and I couldn't feel my legs at all, which wasn't new anymore because that's been the past 3 weeks of my life. But like, I all of a sudden was in a very big world that was very fast paced and I no longer
Hmm.
fit in at all. And I felt very vulnerable and very terrified in a way.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, my mom was with me even in the Uber and stuff. So, like, I knew I was safe. But at the same time, I'm like, this world now all of a sudden feels too big and it feels too fast. And I
Yeah.
don't think I can keep up. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to keep up. So, yeah, if you had asked me that 4 months ago, I would have just been like, oh no, I would never even look at a crowd. Like, no, it's too big. But I've adjusted and now the world feels not the same as it used to, but as close, I think as close to it as it can be. But
Yeah. See, for me, I reverted back to my 6-year-old self and it became, let's play Mission Impossible. And like, okay, if I go this way, I can avoid that crowd, but I'll avoid that way because that hill is too high, but I'll go
oh yeah.
down this way. And that's how my mind was. I was like, I am going to be able to do this, but uh, yeah, it's such a strange thing. Such a strange thing. Has it
Yep.
changed your gait at all? And like you're walking, but has your gait changed?
Oh yeah, I have a pregnancy waddle now. Not even pregnant, but I've
Oh
got the
man.
waddle. I'm like, I have the waddle. Yeah, so that's pretty much how my gait has changed, is that I don't
Mm-hmm.
walk like a normal person anymore. I'm in PT, so it is getting a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And you can definitely tell when I'm tired versus when I'm not as tired because like my gait will change. I'll drag my feet more. Which is really weird because in gymnastics I actually was left-handed. Um, and so like everything that I do, like cartwheels and everything is done with my left side leading. And so that's always been my strongest side. And for some reason, since this diagnosis, it's actually become my weaker side. And so
Yeah.
like I'm doing things and my PT is like, oh, you did great on your right side, but your left side is like really lagging. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, how is that a thing? But so now it's my weaker side, which is very interesting. But yeah, so
Mm.
whenever I'm tired and stuff, like that's the how you know that I'm tired is when like my left leg starts dragging a little bit and like shuffling and scuffing.
Right. Right. Yeah. Man. Yeah. It's such a unforgiving thing and such a sporadic thing to just have. So
Yeah.
like even when I lift now, like my I even hate saying the trouble parts, but the sensitive parts of my body when I'm lifting now is definitely like abdominal and core work because that seems to just triggers like instant spasms.
Hmm.
Um, of course, everything in your back and my legs.
Hmm.
So just because I don't have 100% feeling in my legs, I have like the strength is there. I can lift, but I just don't know what the capacity is because I'm not feeling the fatigue,
Hmm. Oh, exactly,
right?
exactly. Like the second I
So
got
it's
home,
nuts.
I jumped on my bike because again, it's a stationary bike, and I'm like, my mom's like, I don't think you should, and I'm like, I'm fine. I just need help getting onto it so I don't fall. And I'm like, and I'm pedaling,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I don't feel the muscles tired or anything, and I'm like, I probably could have biked for days without stopping.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was smart about it and I gave myself 20 minutes on the bike because I'm just like, and that was going really slow and it felt so weird because you're pedaling without feeling anything. It was the
Yeah.
weirdest thing ever. But I gave myself 20 minutes. I put the timer on for 20 minutes because I'm like, I don't want to like tear a muscle or something like that and then not feel it and continue
Hmm.
going. So I'm like totally with you. It's like, yeah, you can't feel it, so you don't want to hurt yourself.
And then you wake up the following morning, you're going, "Oh my God, that's what that feels like." Like everything's just like haywire crazy. It's just like, what just happened here? No, I'm gonna give myself another 30 minutes of just laying here and not doing anything.
It's like
It's
that's it. Yeah.
insane.
And even like after I do things, people are like, "Oh, like can you feel it now? Like your muscles must be really sore and like the next day and stuff." But I don't feel soreness even the next day. Like I just don't feel
Hmm.
it. But my leg will be like I'll be more tired. My leg will be lagging behind me, like whatever. So it is like you'll know that I worked out, but like I can't
Hmm.
feel it. So I can like I'm like, "Okay, so we're doing it again, right?" And they're like, no. What are you talking about? You need to rest." And that's the one thing that I suck at is resting. I cannot rest to save my life. I was always the patient that the nurses were like, where is she? And then my nurses towards the end of my stay were like, oh, she'll be back. She's just out and about. But they did give me 2 hours of being able to be out in my wheelchair alone. I mean, I had to be on
Mm,
hospital property, but I got 2 hours a day of freedom. It was the best.
right. No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're like totally twinning right now.
Uh-huh.
I think I told you the story about the doctor who thought I was trying to escape from the hospital.
That is hilarious. I remember that story. It was like, oh my
It's
gosh.
insane. She really thought I was just out on my regular daily walk, stretching my legs, and the elevators happened to be on the left side,
Mhm.
and people were getting on the elevators, and I just happened to look at it. She stopped out of the crowd and just stood there and looking at me like, I dare you get on this elevator. Or I was just going to like the common room to just sit and, just be
Yeah.
outside of, but she really thought I was going to escape.
It's like, no, 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 no. No. I'm like, with me,
Jailbreak.
yeah, yeah. Like with me, I'm surprised that they let me out because I had the whole plex port in your neck, like
Me
going
too.
into like your jugular vein. Yeah. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, they let me outside, which is funny because apparently you're not supposed to go outside with like IVs in, apparently.
Mm,
And so, but I'm like, they let me out with a whole IV sticking out of my jugular. So I'm like, great.
right. Walking around looking like Frankenstein's monster. It was just like, you
I
think I want to
know.
escape looking like this? Like, it's insane.
I know it's like, dude, I can't even look to my right side right now. Like, no, it's like, where am I supposed to go? I just feel
Like
bad for
walking New
everybody
York.
who saw me. Like, because I'm going, because it's the hospital that I was in. If you go down to like the main floor, there was also like doctor's offices and like outpatient surgeries and stuff like that. So like you just had the average people just milling around in the common area. And here I am with like this huge port sticking out of my neck, and I'm like, what's up? I'm just like, oh my gosh.
This is as civilized as I'm going to look, ladies and gents. I'm here for 2 weeks. Relax. I'm good. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, see the torture that they do to you? Leave now. Don't trust them. Don't trust them.
oh my God.
I remember when I
So,
first had that put in though, I thought it felt like I felt it after they put it in because I was just curious. I didn't have a mirror and I didn't feel like looking at it. And I felt it. And
mhm.
for some reason, the port felt like a flower, like a big plastic flower. And I was like, oh, at least it's pretty.
Oh my,
And then I
not,
saw it and I was just like, how did this feel like a flower? It looks nothing like it.
it just, oh my gosh. I don't even have like a caption for what it was just like a thing in your neck. It was just this.
I know.
It was just too weird.
Yeah, the second it went in, I felt like a branded cow. It was so weird. I was literally just like, oh my gosh, don't talk to me. Just leave me alone and let me cry. But then I'm like, but I can't cry because then I can like affect it because like with like all of the blood pressure raising and stuff, I'm like, that's probably not good
Mhm.
for it. So I'm like, can't cry, you can't sneeze, you can't scream, you can't do anything because then I
Yeah.
risk that whole thing doing something. And I'm like, okay.
Just lay there, lay there, play solitaire.
Exactly, exactly. It's like can't move my neck at all.
So, like, how are you managing like routinely, like your health, medication, nutrition? Like, how are you
Yeah.
monitoring this stuff?
Yeah, nutrition is a really big one. I started right when I got home, I started an anti-inflammatory like Mediterranean type
Hmm.
diet. Just because a big part of what we have is through inflammation of the spinal cord and other things like
Yeah.
that. So I'm like, well, it sounds like the best thing is going to be to try to manage it is anti-inflammatory. So, but yeah, so that's what I started doing, and I've I'm still doing it, but I've kind of like tapered off a little bit where I'm not super strict. Like I used to put turmeric and black pepper, and oh, one thing that I found out for nerve pain is nutmeg helps with that a lot. So in case you have
Yeah.
nerve pain, I'm like, so I'm like literally just like adding everything into it. I'm like, let's go. Everything that I made had turmeric and black pepper and nutmeg in it. Like that is it. And I still eat like an anti-inflammatory Mediterranean diet, but I don't necessarily add that to everything that I make anymore. But for a good 3 weeks, it probably was everything that I had you knew it had turmeric and black pepper and nutmeg. Like you knew.
Right, right.
It didn't matter what it was. Peanut butter and jelly with turmeric and nutmeg. It's great. But it's just like, and I know that like that's not exactly what keeps the inflammation down, but it's a big part of it, and it was something that I could control. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that was a big part of it. A big part of it from the time that I was in the hospital until a week ago, I think. I think it was a week ago, just over a week. I was on prednisone. And so I was on like steroids and stuff, and that
Mm.
was insane. And I was in and out of the hospital getting high dose steroids every few weeks, which I didn't realize how high dose the steroids were, but they were like 1,000 milligrams, whereas the pills that I were taking was like
Wow.
60 milligrams. And I'm like, oh, that is a huge jump. And so I ended up going in for 5 doses of heavy steroids for a flare up that I was having. And so with that, I was doing fine on my 60 milligrams of prednisone and stuff. And I'd started tapering off and I had avoided most of the moon face and the bloating and all of that kind of stuff. And then I went in for
Mhm.
5 days of high dose steroids, which once a day you get 1,000 milligrams of steroids put into you. And I walked out of that place like, oh, I don't even know, like Violet from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like when she just blows up as that big blueberry, I'm like, that's what I looked like. I wasn't that fat, but my face was like, whoo. I definitely got moon face from that, and just my entire body just swelled up so bad. And I was like, okay, I now look awful, but thanks.
Yeah. It's like, what else
But
are you gonna do? You got to
yeah,
take it.
exactly. And so I was trying to like manage that through because everyone's like, oh, eat bananas, drink more water, like flush out all the excess liquid. Let me tell you, that does not work. It
Yeah.
helps. It helps. I will say that. Like bananas can help, but like they have their benefits, but it's not going to get rid of it automatically. And I've been
Right.
off of the steroids for a week now, roughly, I think just over. But even then, I have bananas every day. I drink tons of water with electrolytes and stuff, and I still haven't lost probably half of the water weight that I've gained. So
Yeah.
I'm
No,
just
that
like, it'll get
stuff.
there. It'll get there, but
Yeah, that stuff pumps you up. You look like a Thanksgiving turkey once it's in you, and
yeah,
it's
I know. I
like if
felt like
you're
a huge walrus. I'm just like, well,
yeah, if you're not moving and really like sweating and for lack of a term, peeing that stuff out, it's just kind of like slowly just moving through you.
yeah.
For me, I just have to like, at least 3, 4 times a day, just walk it off, walk it off, walk it off, walk it off,
Mhm.
walk it off. Because then my knees, I noticed in the hospital, like my knees would, well, should I say my knees? Like the joints around my knees, they just blew up.
Yeah,
And I was like, what is this? Like, they look like faces. Like it was terrible. It's like, no, 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 no. I gotta go walk this off, man. No, stay in
yeah.
your room, stay in. Not happening.
Yeah, not today, not today. No, I
Not
didn't
happening.
didn't realize what it was, but my legs all of a sudden started feeling extremely heavy. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, that's weird. And apparently it's because there's a lot of fluid between, like, right under the skin. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, that makes sense. Okay. I
Where's the sauna?
know, I know. It's like, okay, please, please get this off.
So how it's a two-part question. So now we're diagnosed, we know what we're dealing with. Um, how important is it for you to stay in shape now? And how are you managing staying in shape? But if this is a thing that you ever notice, trying to keep trying to keep the strenuous activity balanced. I mean, yes, there's PT that could be somewhat strenuous, although it's a little bit more tapered than you usually, would do exercises. But how has that been? Has it been really, really challenging? Has it been moderate? You think you got a pretty good handle on it?
Um, Now I would say that I have a pretty good handle on it. I didn't before. I'm my heart rate is still skyrocketing and spiking just from like the littlest bit of strenuous exercise. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and when I first started PT, my PT, she has like this chart of your age and how high, like the percentage of your heart rate and stuff of like how high it should get at different
Mm-hmm.
times. And so she didn't want it to get over 140. So everything that I would do, I would always have to like test it and check it and stuff like that and make sure that it was under 140. And if it ever got to 140, that we would stop and let it drop, which it would drop really fast anyways, so I wouldn't have to stop for that terribly long.
Hmm.
But then I finally went to the cardiologist, and then he said that it was fine and that I can get it up to 180. And so that gave us a lot more lee room and stuff like that, like lee room, gosh, leeway room and stuff. And it's like, it's great. So that let us be able to do a lot more activities and exercise and stuff like that in PT and also just in my daily life. Um,
Hmm.
I live on a really steep hill. And so just walking into town and walking back up to my house, like my heart rate would skyrocket to like 180 just walking up.
Hmm.
And it's a very short distance. It's not really that terribly long, but it would skyrocket. And so I'm just like keeping it to 140 would never let me be able to go into town because like it's a touristy area, so like there's no parking really because a lot
Hmm.
of tourists park and stuff. So I'm like, well, I already live in town, so like it would be stupid to drive my car into town, try to find a parking spot when I'm literally right there.
Right, right.
But yeah, so that's yeah, so I was just trying to like keep my heart rate under control, and now that I'm off steroids, it's a little bit better, I think. But that's like what everybody would tell me was they're like, "Oh, your heart rate's skyrocketing because of the steroids and all of that kind of stuff." And I'm just like, I don't think so because that was my original symptom before
Hmm.
steroids. So I'm just like, I don't know. Like maybe, but maybe not. So I'm still trying to figure out if it's going to go back down to normal or not. But yeah, so I've gotten
Yeah,
a little bit more under control where I can do things and keep it to around 160, which is really nice. But it's
yeah.
like just trying to keep the strenuous activity. I try to push myself, but as long as like I can, like as long as I'm managing my symptoms and stuff like that. So like
Yeah.
when was it? Saturday. Saturday I actually did my first 5K. Yay. I know I'm so happy.
Bravo.
So it's the weirdest thing ever not being able to run. And I did a 5K with 3 days of training. So
Mm.
I'm like, I have a running group in town and I went back to it and I ran with them for 3 days. And actually, the third day was the day of my 5K, which was crazy that I could literally go from like 0 to 5K. But again, I pushed myself, and that's after 4 months of not running. But I did run, walk,
Mm.
run, walk, run, walk. But a few of the times, I didn't really feel it, but my heart rate, I would look at my heart and my heart rate would be up to like 200. And I'm just like, okay, we're slowing this way down. And so then I would like end up
Yeah.
having to stuff until it got to about 160-ish. And then I would like run a little bit more. And so I think only 2 times did it get to 200.
I'm
And
happy that you said that you can actually run because that's something my legs are still not able to process just yet.
no, it is the weirdest feeling ever. It is so
It
weird. And
is.
I ran once 3 weeks ago. Because I
Hmm.
got a scholarship. It was like months ago. I got a scholarship and a sponsorship for this 5K that was in my town. And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. This is gonna be the best. But that was like before my PT told me like that I can't do certain things because of my heart rate and all of that. And I'm just like, no. So she wasn't letting me run. And to this day, she still isn't letting me run, but I did it anyways. So too bad. Um, but I know it's like, shh, it's our secret. But anyway, so I did that run a few weeks ago and it was with a different running group. So I'm blaming that other running group because it's not my normal one. But like it did
Peer
feel,
pressure.
I didn't feel good running. Like my legs just felt really heavy and not like my own. And I
Hmm.
honestly, after feeling that, I was just like, I don't know if I want to run anymore.
Mm.
Like I want to run, but it feels too weird to run. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to feel that way to run.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
no. And so it was like a few weeks later, and I think it was more that I just felt bad about getting the scholarship, like over somebody else and not doing
Mm.
it. And so I'm just like, no, I have to. And so I started going back to my running group and I ran twice this past week and then again once Saturday morning. And then, yeah, I was able to do the 5K and I did it in 36 minutes, which was actually pretty good. It's a pretty good time.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
was walk, run, walk. So, but I pushed myself. My mom was running with me as my support, like as my, yeah, as like my little helper. So that was nice. And then
Go,
I was
mom.
I know. I'm just like, yeah, happy Mother's Day. Um, But anyway, so just with all of that, um, I was running and I looked ahead and I saw this gate and I was like, okay, I'm gonna run until I get to that gate and then I'm gonna walk because it was like a lot of gravel on the other side of
Mhm.
that. And so I'm just like, oh, I don't want to like trip and fall, so it's probably best if I walk on the gravel. But like in order to do that, I need to make it to that gate. And then my mom's like, Miranda, stop running. And I'm just like, no, it's fine. And she's like, stop running. And I'm like, just a second. And I make it to the gate and then I stop and I'm like, see, happy. And she's like, Miranda, your left leg was literally giving out every time that you stepped on it. And
Oh
I
my
didn't feel it.
gosh. You
I didn't
can't
know.
feel it.
I couldn't feel it. And so she's like, no, your left leg, every time that you would land on it, started buckling. And I'm just like,
Mm.
oh, I'm like, oops, thank you.
Oh my gosh,
But
man.
I'm like, why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me? And I'm like, oh, now I get it. Okay.
And it's insane that we don't feel it, like it just registers in your head like everything's okay, everything's normal. But the
Mhm.
outside world is going, somebody get this girl a doctor. Like, what is going on right now?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, yeah, it's insane and crazy just being an athlete and like trying to push yourself and like being in an athlete's world as well. Because like people were able to run the whole thing, but like I had to run walk it and I still did it in great time, but I had to
Hmm.
run walk it just because my heart rate and I actually ran through one of those like it's an MS hug, but it's not because we don't have MS, but it's the same symptom. But
Yeah.
like one of those like hugs on your rib area, I actually haven't had one in the past 2 weeks, which was great. And I used to have it
Hmm.
every time I would go walking. And yesterday when I was running, it was about 3 minutes into my run, I started getting one. And it makes like, but it's not just my chest, it actually makes my legs tingle. And so I get
Oh
like
well.
really bad tingling in my legs that makes it almost impossible to walk, much less run. And so I actually ended up running through 5 minutes of an MS hug until it went away. And
Mm.
that was very uncomfortable, but I was like, no, we got this.
Oh my God. Every time I try to run, so I hold on to something
Hmm.
and I've got about 8 seconds before my legs start feeling like noodles falling out of a plate, you know? Oh my gosh. But if I can break that wall to be like, okay, I can do this and get at
Hmm.
least a mile in, it'd
Yeah.
be so great. It'd be
It's
so, so great.
like do it for, I mean, if you have 8 seconds before your legs get noodles, do 5 seconds of running and then 20 seconds of walking and try to do it run, walk, run, walk. That's what helped me.
Mm,
But it was like, yeah, because my legs sometimes just, yeah, they give out and stuff. But then I was able to run after my leg almost gave out once I started walking. So
mm.
I was able to run again.
Yes.
I was able to finish it. So I'm like, might not work for everybody, but it's something that worked for me. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like everyone's so individual,
it's so different. Yeah. I'm like, this
so
is
it's
not a
like,
cookie cutter disease. And yeah, our bodies
oh,
respond so differently to everything.
it's terrible. But like you did your 5K a few weeks ago. I completed my half marathon and I walked every proud step of
That is
13.1.
good. Yes.
Every proud step. And this weekend rather, it's a event that I always do on Mother's Day.
Hmm.
So happy Mother's Day to Mom in Heaven. Um, it's called the Wings for Life World Run,
Hmm.
and it's for individuals with spinal conditions. Go figure.
Just like ours.
All right, go figure. But these are people who like, I mean, I guess we can be incorporated in that, but from what I've come to know, like people who've been in really bad car accidents, and like there was a lady that I met, she was involved in a surfing accident and had
Yeah.
severed her spine and things like that. So um, I would usually do that every year and be the athlete for that, but
Mhm.
I'm doing it this Sunday, and of course, again, I'm gonna trug along until that race is over. So
That's
yeah,
perfect.
kudos to us, man. We don't stop. Kudos to us. Pat yourself on the
Yeah.
shoulder, on the back.
Like it's great. I think that that's what makes
It's
us
awesome.
stronger athletes, honestly, is just I'm like we might not look fast and we might not look strong, but like we're also fighting so many things internally. and we're fighting
Hmm.
with our body every single step of the way, not just fighting like our mindset and different things like that, like a lot of athletes do. It's
Hmm.
like, no, we're not fighting like, oh my gosh, my body is so tired. It's like I can't do this and like pushing through it like a lot of athletes do.
Hmm.
And finally being able to get over that hump and finish the race. But it's just like, no, we're battling with our bodies with like different like MS hugs, with different with our legs not working, with having to wonder if like you're gonna get a flare up because of it and stuff like that, because sometimes that's what can happen if you get overheated. And like
Right.
for me, I end up I know the name of this now. I finally learned it, but it's way too hard for me to pronounce. So it's the one thing that I'm still learning how to pronounce. But anyways, it's where you bend your neck forward and then like an electric shock goes through all the way down to your feet.
I know exactly what it happens to me. I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
And so like I'm fine in the morning, but normally by the time that like evening time comes around, I'll like do that just to test it. And sure enough, it's like the shock. And I'm like, and apparently it's from inflammation. And so I'm like, okay. And
Yeah.
so after, like, I was fine until after I did my 5K, and then it was like really bad. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I take cold showers to heart now. Like cold, just take it.
Hmm. Yep.
Take it. I'm talking about in the middle of February. Take it.
Yeah.
This is not
Because the
good,
heat
but
makes it worse. Yeah.
oh my
Like,
gosh, man, it is something else. But so you say that you're in Hawaii,
mhm.
very tropical temperature. Speaking about inflammation and flare-ups, does the weather at any point in time initiate you feeling more uncomfortable? Does it exacerbate any of your symptoms or cause you to flare up at all?
Yeah, heat does. Not that often, which is really nice. When I first got diagnosed, I didn't really know what flare-ups felt like because again, I had
Hmm.
just been diagnosed. I'm like, oh, something's changing. Oh my gosh, gotta fix this. Like, it must be a flare-up. And so I went, that's probably why I've been to the hospital so many times, is because like I would always call my neurologist and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm having a flare-up, like, ah, and she's like, well, it doesn't sound like one, but like maybe. So like, yeah, just go. I'm like, thanks. And my neurologist is an expert in NMO, which is really, really good. So she knows what she's talking about with the disease.
Right.
A lot of neurologists don't. So they're just as clueless as we are sometimes, and sometimes even more. Sad to say, but I'm like, it's what happens with rare diseases. So, but luckily mine, she actually is an expert in my disease, which is great. And so I just call her and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And she's like, well, it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't fit into the box. But again, it's not a cookie cutter disease. So it's like we all respond differently and our bodies react differently to different things. So she's like, just go in
Hmm.
just to make sure, start like one round of steroids and stuff like that and just get it under control. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But a lot of it is with the heat. Yeah, I want to actually move up to Waimea someday soon, hopefully, because it's a lot cooler up there. So it's Hawaii, but
Right.
it's actually a lot cooler. Whereas like in the summers, it gets to like the low mid 80s, and then in the
Hmm.
winters, it'll get down to like the 60s, which is really nice. Whereas
Hmm.
here where I live, it's like the 80s all year round. So
That
it's just
sounds like that I need to be.
right. It's so nice, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I need to be in Hawaii," and it's just like it's the best. But at the same time, it kind of sucks when you have a disease that reacts to
Yeah.
heat, but it also reacts to the cold as well. So I'm like, I don't think that there's really a perfect place to be because I know that if you get too cold or if you get too hot, which it is what it is, but that's why I want to go to Waimea because it's literally perfect.
That
Um,
Waimea place sounds like our San Diego, where it's just like
see?
perfect temperature all year round. Like it because
Yeah.
it's geographically it's like in this basin
Hmm.
where I don't know what I don't know like however that's termed, but I know it's in this basin and nothing changes. It's just like just that, always comfortable year round. So yeah, at some point maybe I'll move out there, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, it's just trying to
Who
find
knows?
comfortable with your diagnosis and stuff, and also seeing like, is it worth it? Because like, I mean, I love Hawaii. Hawaii is great. The lifestyle here is so laid back, and like, there's so many like holistic things that you can do to help your body along with like doing
Mhm.
Western medicine and stuff like that. And sure, there are setbacks where I live an hour away from the nearest hospital. And then I have to get airlifted to Oahu if anything happens. But at the same time, it's like, is it worth moving back to the mainland just for certain things when the lifestyle here is perfect and I really enjoy it? because that's a big
Right.
part about your disease too, is just like having a good mindset and being comfortable where you are, having the support team that you need and stuff like that being around you. So it's like sometimes it's not
Absolutely.
worth doing.
Absolutely. So you say a support team. So you're hitting on these cylinders like I don't even have to like say anything because you're hitting it. Um, so earlier before we were talking about, you know, people saying, "Oh, maybe you should do this and maybe you should do that," but they are not versed in all the invisible stuff that they don't see happening to us. How do you navigate? Let me change that. How do you help them understand, like, okay, these invisible factors that you don't see, these are what these are, right? And how do you get them to understand that and be like the best? I don't even want to use the word best, but for lack of a better term and speaking, the best support system. So they don't, and everybody's going to make a mistake by saying, oh, maybe you should or you should, but they don't make that mistake time and time over again. You know what I mean? Like, how do you get them to understand that?
Yeah, so I have two different support teams. So I have my support team of close family and like my best friends. And then I have another support team, and that's just the community around me because Hawaii, it's a very like tight-knit community, which is great. Everyone knows each other and it's perfect. So and they know what you go through. So like I went to a coffee or my mom went to a coffee shop while I was at the hospital, and the people there were like, "Oh my gosh, give her my best," like all of that, like because they had overheard our conversation from behind the counter of us just
Mm-hmm.
talking for the past few weeks about my condition. So they knew what I was going through, even without me ever telling them. And so I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So, but that's just like, I mean, maybe it just shows that we're all eavesdroppers, but like, I think that it's because we're a really good community. So, just kidding. They are really good friends of mine, though. So it's like, I do know them enough that it's fine that they know. But it's like, but so I have two different sets of like support systems and stuff like that. My best friends, they are the ones who I can literally tell everything to, and I'm like, hey, this is literally what's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, I was walking with my friend the other day and I ended up having a really bad MS hug that literally made me have to stop walking and like almost double over just from like the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I'm just like, oh, go ahead, like just I'll meet you in there because like it was some event that we were going to. I'm like, oh, just go, like I'm just gonna stand here for a second, I'll be fine. And she's like, no, no, I'll stand with you. And then she just like talked to me for a good 5 minutes until it like went away. And then I stood up and I was like, okay, I'm good. And she's like, are you sure? And even like walking and stuff like that, like when I first got back and I was too stubborn to use my walker and stuff, my friends would literally come and like they would hold my belt loop to keep me standing up, like to
Mm-hmm.
make sure I didn't fall and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's a little overkill, but like, thank you. But my friends, my best friends actually are caretakers professionally, which is really cool. So I'm just like,
Bravo.
I know exactly what I need. So that just makes
Right.
it a lot more easy is when you
Mm-hmm.
have friends who like actually understand kind of how to take care of you and stuff, and even like talking to them and stuff like that, they are able to very quickly get on board with it even if they don't fully understand it. It was funny though, I was teasing my one friend because she was taking it really hard, and she was taking it really hard, and every like she would be doing stuff with my other friends and I'm like, well, thanks for not even inviting me, like rude. And then she's like, well, no, but like you're tired, like I don't want you to be too tired. Like she was looking out for me, which was great, and I loved her for it. But like it became a thing that happened a lot. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm tired, but like you can at least invite me and then I can say yes or no. Like thanks for looking out for me, but like
Mm-hmm.
I can decide as well. And but it did get to the point though where like she would come over and we would do different things. And for some reason, I do not know why, I would end up in the ER every single night or the next day after we would hang out. I don't know why. It was the weirdest thing ever. And she's like, we just can't see each other anymore. Like something's wrong. Like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. But like
You guys just broke up, like.
it was like we're still best friends and we actually have like gotten over that hump, but it was like the weirdest thing ever. And I think it was because it would take like I would end up in the hospital and then like she wouldn't see me for various reasons for a few weeks. And then she'd finally come and see me and we'd hang out. But then it was a few weeks later, so then I'd end up in the hospital. Like and so I think it was just from that, but it got to the point where like she was the common denominator with everything. I'm like, this is you, girl, like this is you. But like, and we weren't even doing anything. She would come over and we would be watching like a Disney movie or something, and like the next on the couch, and the
Oh my.
next day I'm in the hospital, and I'm like, hi. But it's gotten past that, so we can still hang out and do things, and I don't end up in the hospital much anymore. But
Oh.
it was really funny though. I was like, shame. And she was like the one who was like, she's like the strongest, but at the same time, like she's like very sensitive. And so like I just felt so bad that it was her because she takes everything first and she's like, it's my fault. Oh my gosh, I can't believe and I'm like, girl, it's fine. It's not you. It's something internal that I don't know what, but you're just a common denominator. Sorry. And
Oh
I
my
also
God.
have I know, but then I also have my community as my support group and stuff. And like they're
Excuse me.
they pray for me, they do all of these different things for me. It's great. And it is just really funny though, because like they see me walking. They see me walking and then when I first got here and they're just like, "Oh, like we're praying for you, like you're fine, like hopefully you'll start to get better, like whatever." And then now like I'm starting to get better with my walking, but that's just because I'm getting better. I don't even know. I think it's just because I'm getting better with my balance. And so my walking looks better. And so I was walking
Yeah.
the like, oh my gosh, you're walking so much better. So like you're better, right? And I'm just like, no.
Not quite. No.
And so I actually posted something the other day, and it was the day I got off of my medicine on Instagram. I posted it and I was like, hey, I'm off my meds now, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, oh, wait, people are actually probably going to think that I am better now. And like, because I'm off my meds. And so I had to make like a separate post at the very end of it. And I'm like, actually, I'm still sick. I'm off the meds, but I still am sick. I still do have a disease.
Like I'm just having a very good day today. Like,
I
you
know,
know.
I know. So it's just like, okay, so like it's just having to like make sure that it's clarified for them that like,
Hmm.
yes, I'm having a good day. I can walk better. I'm off my meds. Like I can go skydiving today. Like I don't know, whatever you feel like doing. But this is just my day, but I am still sick. Like for what I
Right.
do, I won't be able to do tomorrow most likely because I'm using up the energy today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, so I just try
Uh,
to make it clear with the rest of my community, just like, no, you don't see what's going on, but this is what it is.
it is. Yeah. No, it's oh my gosh. It's I mean at times I don't even know how to term it, man. It's just kind of like can my body be just be in harmony again? You know, that's all you want. That's all you want. Um your mentality and perspective. Um how do I want to coin this? What's your perspective on competition now being diagnosed with this thing?
Mhm. Um, my perspective with competition is just to have grace for yourself when you're doing it. Like sure, push yourself to your new limit, which is not going to be even close to my old limit.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so it's just like pushing myself, giving myself the grace to have more off days, like just to take more time to rest and recover and stuff like that after different activities that I do, especially for training. Like yesterday,
Hmm.
I did a 5K, and no, not yesterday. Saturday, I did a 5K. And then yesterday, my friend was like, hey, let's go swimming. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. So we went down to the ocean and we went for a little swim. And that just took it all out of me just because I had done the same thing the day before and
Hmm.
I was so tired. And so today I'm just more tired. And even my friends were like, you look really tired today. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, I'm feeling fine, but like, yeah, I'm a little bit more tired. And so, like, I'm not running today. I'm not going down to the ocean to go swimming today. Like, I'm not doing
Oh
anything.
my.
So it's just giving yourself the grace to listen to your body. And like yesterday, had I been so tired that I couldn't have gone swimming, I of course would have said no. But like my legs were like a little bit heavy because again, I can't feel like that they're tired or sore or whatever, but they just feel heavier
Hmm.
sometimes when I'm tired. And so I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, like it's mostly my arms now that I swim with and stuff. So I'm like, like I can do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, but today I'm just like, no, we're taking it easy today. It's like not
Do
pushing.
does wearing like the swimming fins help at all or no when
I
you're
can't
swimming?
do the swimming fins because I actually I had a injury when I was in ballet, and it makes it so that
Mhm.
I can't point my foot anymore, which when you put your
Oh,
feet in the fins, it puts your foot into an almost pointed position.
yep.
Sometimes
Hmm.
when you go up and down, and so it actually gives me a really bad foot cramp. So I
Ouch.
can't do
Okay.
it anymore, which isn't part of my diagnosis. I just have really never been able to use fins because I got injured in ballet when I was, well, not in, but for ballet when I was 12.
Hmm.
So it's been just a thing that I've been dealing with ever since. But yeah, but I actually was told that I would never be able to go swimming again when I first got diagnosed because it's a spinal injury and because my legs and stuff. And so it was Saturday, so it was actually the day of my 5K. Saturday was a big day for me. I did my first 5K and I went swimming for the very first time in 4 months. So that was really
Good
nice just to
job.
test it out and stuff and to be able to find out that like I can swim, but it's different now. Like it's definitely not
Yeah.
as pretty and not as coordinated and stuff as it used to be. Yeah, I was swimming and stuff, and then I started tilting one way, and then I'm like, what the heck? And then I started tilting the other way. And I'm like, what's going on? And then like, and again, my mom was with me because she is my caretaker and stuff. So she was with me to make sure I didn't drown. And so she's like, are you meaning to cross your ankles? And I'm like, no. And as I was swimming, my ankles just like crossed themselves. And because of that, it made me tilt. And then they somehow switched, and then it made me tilt the other way. And I didn't know that. So I was like, okay. So yeah, so just with all the training, it's just giving yourself grace, laughing about it. Just
Yeah.
like funny things that happened, like where my leg almost gave out while running the other day, and I didn't even know about it. I'm like, had I fallen, I still probably would have laughed because it was just so bizarre that I didn't know I was
Exactly.
falling until I hit the ground.
And to,
It's like I probably would have laughed just because of how bizarre this can feel and be.
so yeah, I mean, look, man, at the end of it all, you can't take yourself too seriously either. It's like, look, I've
Yeah.
got this thing that I'm dealing with. It's like sleeping and then falling out the bed. Like, why did I fall out the bed?
Hmm.
Like you're gonna laugh at yourself. You're gonna
Yeah,
laugh. It's
definitely.
ridiculous.
Yeah. But I feel like
It's
with this,
something else.
it kind of puts you in between where you're not officially a handicapped athlete, but you're also not a normal, healthy, fully capable athlete as well.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that I would fall into the handicap category of like I mean I might, but like with Ironman of like doing the swim and then helping with the transition, then being put into like one of the floor bikes or whatever that you use your hands for and
Hmm.
stuff. Like I don't think that I would necessarily qualify for that at the moment. I might, but like at the same time, I don't feel like that's me either, just personally, not even with that. So I just feel like I'm in that in between category where I'm just like I can't do it, but at the same time, like I don't feel like I should be doing it in this other area as
Yeah.
well. So like it just puts you in
It's
between.
like my patient. You might have heard of her. My patient, neuro educator. I forget the gentleman that she mentioned, but he said something along the lines of, "Okay, so we got all these things going on, and you think you're completely out of the game. What if you look at it as though you were replanted,
Yeah.
right? Replanted. So now I took that to mean like, okay, so maybe we have been replanted to show others like, hey, there's still a way and up to and a will to go. You just gotta make your pivots and make the best out of it. So yeah, I always kind of look at it as we are still those leaders. We are
Mhm.
still those athletes, and take a look at us, man. Like we're still in this.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah,
still
definitely.
in this.
Like I say
So
this all the time and I'm like, I think that I might have to like make it into an official quote of like quote by Miranda. Um, but it's I always say it and it's always just you can't control what happened to you, but you can
mhm.
control how you respond and how you react to it. And that's just like it just keeps
Absolutely.
going. And I'm like, that is exactly it. I'm like, it's just yeah, it's just so wild that that's because there's so many people that they can be like, oh, this happened to me. I'm not gonna do anything anymore. Like my life's over. And
Yeah.
then there's other ways that it's like, no, like I'm going to figure out how to keep my life going. And of course, with our
Hmm.
disease and stuff, like we're the lucky ones. We can still see, we can still walk for the most part. Like we're not completely paralyzed anymore. We're not completely blind, all of that kind of stuff, which a lot of people are with our disease. So again,
Hmm.
like it's not saying that just because you do fall into that of like, oh my gosh, my life is over, it sucks, like I can't do anything. I'm like, sure, there's probably a lot of people who do have more reason than most for that. But at the same time, it's like, I think that is also how you respond to that challenge as well, as seeing it as not a challenge that stops you, but as a challenge to overcome.
Uh-huh.
Necessarily that you can overcome blindness, but you can learn to work with it. Like, I live in a condo complex, and there's this one lady that I don't know how long she's been blind for, but like you can see her counting everything, and she's completely independent on her own. Um, yeah, she like crosses busy streets by herself. She like literally will like go to the garbage by herself, get her mail by herself, like, and you can just see her counting with her little stick and stuff like that, and like it's the coolest thing ever. And she's the sweetest person ever. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm like, way to go. Because if I was blind, I don't think I would leave my house without help. And then you
Yeah.
see her walking into town with another blind lady. They have no guide except for themselves, and it's literally blind leading the blind, which I'm just like, that is so cool. Like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh. I'm like, I want to be like you when I grow up.
Hmm. No, in some ways we become, and I'm not using this to make it seem like a pedestal or, one of those things, but somehow or the other we become like that superhuman individual or individuals, because those other senses kick in and it's just kind of like we can still do this, somewhere or the other we can still do it. But no, oh man, this is so awesome. I really am happy that you were able to get on this platform today. I really, really am.
Thank you
Um,
for inviting me. This was amazing.
um, so before we close out, and I even hate to say that, man, I'm having so much fun with you. Um, as athletes here, but I'm going to give the question to you. What would you say? And I don't want to use the word advice, but what would you say to another athlete who is brand new to the diagnosis of NMO, transverse myelitis, whichever one they may be, in the realm of? What would you say to them?
Don't let others determine what you can and can't do. Don't let them determine not necessarily your worth, but your worth of what you can do, what you can't do. I was told that I may never walk again. I was pretty much completely paralyzed for the first 2 weeks of my diagnosis, before I started learning how to walk again. And even then, people are like, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to walk without a walker. You might have to get a wheelchair. You might not be able to swim again. And now here I am running a 5K. I can swim again. I haven't rode a bike outside yet, but that hopefully will come soon. Kind of scared to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that that's more my own mind block. But like, just because people tell you that you can't do something doesn't mean that you can't. It just means that you might have to find a different way to go about it than you used to. And again,
Mm-hmm.
that's just another challenge, not to stop you or to block you, but just to overcome and to either go around or to go over it and just try to find what works for you. And yeah, get the support that you need for that, whether it's from your friends or from actual coaches or even from your own doctors and stuff. Like my whole doctor support is amazing and they are honestly truly the best. And so any questions I have about anything, I'm like, even with my neurologist, I'm like, so can I train for Ironman? And she's like, yeah, from the neuro standpoint, go for it. Like have fun. But then like my cardio was like, I probably wouldn't because of your heart, but it could get better. So then like you can still train just like a lot slower. So just
Mm-hmm.
find what works for you and don't let people limit you.
Well said. Well said. Like, take that to heart, ladies and gents. Like, you got to make your pivots here and there, but you can still do something. Still do something. Oh my gosh, Miranda, I can talk to you for the next 2 days. Seriously.
I know. I'm like, we're probably going way over time, but like I actually don't care. So
I mean, look, this is the best part when you have full control of what you're doing, and it's just you. So Yeah, no, totally. I at some point definitely want to have you back, so we could
I would love
talk a
that.
little bit more. Because I mean, even the questions that I have for you, we didn't even get through half of them. We didn't even get through half, but it's all good. We can hold them for next time and expound on them the way we can, and yeah, have some more fun. But Miranda Evans, this has been a pleasure. It was great seeing you again,
Pleasure being
and
here.
like yes, and yeah, we're definitely going to have you back again, and we're going to make the most of all the time that we have, exactly like what we did tonight. And ladies and gents, this concludes episode 5. I forgot to even say, episode 5 is also titled The Athlete's Talk. So this is going to be a cool little title and episode once everything gets edited.
Right? The perfect title.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Miranda, thank you so much. Hold on for a sec and we'll just chop up for a little bit after this. Ladies and gents, have a wonderful week. Thank you for tuning in to episode 5. And we will see you again, same bat channel. Hope possibly the same bat time, depending on what hemisphere you're in. And bid thee adieu. Be well, folks.